Hello, back with number 3 of our 4 videos for Essentialism. This one is section 2 of the book. It is about exploring, and it's broken up into several subsections. First of all, escape. Greg McCune talks to us about the perks of being unavailable, putting your computer on Do Not Disturb, as I have right now in order to do this video, putting your phone on Do Not Disturb, silencing your alarm, turning off your notifications, perhaps putting your auto reply on to say, hey, I'm in focused work mode. It's actually modeling to other people what it's like to have that boundary. So we need space space and time to think, to wonder, to explore. And if people are too busy to think, then they are simply too busy, period. If we cannot actually have time to reflect, then we're living kind of a superficial, lower quality existence in comparison to what we could be doing, right? If you don't have time for anything such as a self activation or self fulfillment activity in your life right now, i.e. coaching, therapy, mastermind groups, if you feel you're too busy for a reflection activity, then this message might be for you. What are you missing out on in the ocean of busyness? Like, are you over there splashing unhappy with your circumstances when there's actually a flotation device just out of your sight? You know, is there another option that you're not seeing because of how focused you are on the trivial many things? In order to focus, we need to escape. We need to actually do an attention reset. Sometimes we go for a walk. Sometimes we need to call a friend. Sometimes we just need to stop looking at the computer screen. Anybody identify with that? Our eyes don't focus well if they don't blink from time to time. We actually need that blinking reset as well. There's a paradox here. The busier and older we are, the more activities we have in our life, midlife, for example, very busy time, the more we actually need the white space, the downtime, the time away, the rest. Think of how your phone overheats when you have 50 apps open on it. You know, think of how slow your processor works when you have 150 windows open at one time. I am totally guilty of that. In my family, there's actually a thing. My daughter is like, can I close out all your apps? She likes to count how many apps I have open because I do have too many apps open most of the time. He tells a story in this part of the book about an executive who leaves 2 hours of blank space in his calendar every single day. Time to shift back and forth between problem solving, thinking up close, and zooming out, and building relationships, and just sitting to think. Because in an executive or leadership role, you actually need to build that space in regularly to stay focused on your strategy, on your values, on your mission, and on your people. So that is a takeaway, I think, that's worthy of an asterisk here. Like, build in some blank space time and do not think of it as wasteful. It is anything but wasteful. It actually enriches, fertilizes, and makes possible the success of all these other ideas. Bill Gates has something called retreat mode. He goes away for like 2 weeks a year. No phone, no computers, no disturbances, just thinking. So that's a model. Our next subsection is about looking and seeing what really matters in the foreground, but also the background. What is not being said? What is not being seen? This was one of the modes of creativity talked about in Gabriella Kellerman and Martin Seligman's latest book, Tomorrow Mind. Maybe we'll do a distillation of that one in the near future. So this is a way of shifting focus, and suggestion here is to use a micro-journaling habit to help with the seeing. 5-minute timer max, maybe even 2 minutes. Prompt the, regular habit of doing a tiny micro journaling, even 30 seconds, about moments, about insights. Have it near you, put it in your phone. I am really enjoying the app called Momento. It prompts me, and I can actually program it with journal prompts like, what did you dream last night? It reminds me or asks me at 8 a.m. How is your day going in the middle of the day? What did you learn today? What are you grateful for at the end of the day? That way I actually have a prompt and I don't have to rely on my own brain to remind me. Just a thought. The next subsection of explore is play. Play and creative pursuits. So important to our optimal functioning. We need to embrace the wisdom of our inner child and stop believing the message that we got somewhere in adolescence or early adulthood that serious people don't play, or that play is trivial or a waste of time. It actually frees up the brain, lights up the brain synaptically like nothing else. It prepares us for a ambiguous world with novel challenges. It creates flexibility, creativity, and if we are practiced at play, then we can really separate the winning and losing over the relationship. We don't have to throw away the person when things between us don't go well. So it's a really important aspect. We know that as children, our brains are being built through play. I would say that's probably still true even in adulthood. It broadens the numbers of options available to us, and it antidotes stress, very importantly, because it brings us more and more into the present moment. It's hard to be playful and stressed at the same time. Play doesn't just exist to help us find the essential, Greg says. It is essential in itself. It affects our executive function circuits in the brain. Like, it is so nourishing to our brain. So if you're not sure where to start with playing, there are a million ideas. Call me up. I will tell you all the things I love to do. One of them is this fun game called Color Coup. It's basically Sudoku, but in 3 dimensions with colored balls. What did you like to do as a child that excited you? What do you like to do now? What would you like to learn more about that would feel playful for you? So Wordle, crosswords, jigsaw puzzles, that's a great problem-solving activity. Solitaire, chess, board games with your kids. Maybe it's movement like Zumba or bodygroove.com. Maybe it's pickleball, the sport that's sweeping the nation, rock climbing, yoga. All of these things help us to play. Next, he talks about sleep. If you have not read the book Why We Sleep, I'll put a plug in for it here. Sleeping well and really investing in rest for our brain is protecting our highest, most important asset, ourselves, our brain, our health, right? When we underinvest in ourselves, we risk the very instrument through which we are able to enjoy and impact the world. So do what the body and mind need most: sleep. If you have trouble with sleep, get help. There's many things I can talk to you about that augment sleep and sleep quality. One of them is tracking. I love my Aura ring. It helps me know how I'm sleeping. I used to be a I'll sleep when I'm dead person. I am not that person anymore. I mean, I do love to get a lot done. But if you are a person who's getting only 5 or 6 hours a night, or you think that you're a person that only needs 5 or 6 hours a night, read that book, Why We Sleep, and challenge that belief. Lecture over. Sleep is a driver of peak performance. There is no doubt. There's tons of evidence to support that. We need to shatter the stigma that sleep or rest is a reward. It is essential. In fact, just being at rest recharges the brain. There's an anecdote in the book about these highly performing violin players, violinists, and they both practiced a ton, but the thing that made the most difference actually was the ones who got more sleep, because your practice is more potent when you sleep and you're consolidating your learning in your sleep. So it's incredible. Google actually has nap pods. I don't know how much they're used, but they have that. So I endorse sleep. I love the Nod Pod, which is basically a weighted blanket for my eyes and total darkness. So if that's a tip that helps you, so good for me. A little bit of weighted blanket or face mask or eye mask if you like that kind of thing. I don't like it around my head. And very last in this section is select. Using the power of having extreme criteria. This is where if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. He said if it's not a clear yes, it's a clear no, but my version has the word hell in it. So we want to turn down the good in favor of the great, have a 90% cutoff criteria, only say yes to the top 10% of opportunities. And this means hires too. Ignore the temptation to say this is good enough or the reward. Bear the discomfort of the FOMO because it's not yet in your top 10% of right for you. Don't settle for a close second. It will be an accumulative problem, and you don't want that. You really want to be 10%. So that is his message in section 2 of this book. I will see you next in Eliminate.